Hello, this is Bridge Training Resources, and today we have Yasmin Bannerman, who is well known for such TV programs like Doctor Who, Hollyoaks, Cold Feet, and also we have Seb, who is volunteering with Bridge Training Resources at the moment for his Duke of Edinburgh Award. And Seb is our positivity ambassador, which is a great title. And he's been doing some great social media work this week. So Seb, I'll hand over to you because I believe you have some questions for Yasmin.
Yeah, I do. So I understand you're living in Germany.
Yeah.
Have you learned any German?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat any right now. I have learned some German, but only a little. I could certainly improve my skills. And of course, I understand much more than I would say. It's very important when you're learning a language to speak it as often as possible. And unfortunately, all my friends are Brits, Australians, Americans, but we're all learning together. So yes, I do, but not as fluent as I would like to be, anywhere near.
So can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm Yasmin, and I live in Germany at the moment with my 2 children and my husband. I am born and bred in London, in the UK, and I moved from London to Gloucester, where I grew up when I was 3. And I stayed there until I went off to study. I went to drama school, and first I went to St. Peter's, Infant St. Peter's, Juniors, and St. Peter's High. Then I went off to London and went to drama school, and started my started my theatre and TV career. Then I went into voiceover work, which is what I do now. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
So do you have any tips for how to get into acting for young people?
For young people, I think it does depend what age you are. But what I would say is this. I mean, of course, things have changed quite dramatically from when I was younger and I was getting into drama. But I'd say to start off where you are. If you're at school, do they do school plays? See whether you can get into that. Or if there are after school clubs where they do drama classes or anything like that, any kind of performing really. Because I really started off, I think it was probably infants and juniors. We did a lot of plays and choirs. And I remember when I was at St. Peter's, we had the junior choir with Major Chater running it, actually, and we performed a lot. And I think just seizing the opportunity to perform is really, really helpful at every age and at every stage. And then I think once you get a bit older, you doing your it's GCSEs that you do, isn't it? IGCSEs here, and you can pick drama. That was really, really useful for me at St. Peter's. We had Mrs. Walsh, who ran the drama school. That was head of drama, and we got to do all sorts of improvisations and that sort of thing. I think that's really helpful. There are great youth theatres. There's, I'm sure it's still going, National Youth Theatre. And there's the Everyman Theatre in Gloucestershire, which is in Cheltenham. That's where I went, and that was wonderful. You get to do plays. It's like after school, and we did tours. We toured in Amsterdam with Anne Frank play that we did, which was amazing. So all of those sorts of things, there are usually local theatres that sometimes do like amateur dramatics, if you can join that. And I think you have Stagecoach and those sorts of things that go on. I know that some of them do charge quite a lot of money, so that's not for everybody. But it's just look in your local area with your connections from school and just see what's available. Because I think whether it's choir, whether it's anything like that, just getting to perform, that's where you sort of develop your love of it and meet other people that love it too. And they'll take you to that next stage. And then after that, of course, you have your drama schools and theatre schools. That's what I did. That's the route I took. Some people do go on to university and they have plays there. Well, I went to university and there was a separate department that was doing plays. I think I was actually studying film at the time, but it was nothing to do with my course, but you get the opportunity to be in plays. So I did that too. So anywhere there's an opportunity, I'd say just jump all over it and have a go, because it's all experience. So I'd say to start there. And then, of course, as I said, there are drama schools and that you can go to afterwards, and that gives you your real training and sets you up for the world of work. I know that there are also more theatre schools like Italia Conti, that sort of thing. This information might all be really out of date, but and they will take you right up to finding agents and really entering the professional world of work. A lot of them, they even give you opportunities to perform while you're still very young on stage as extras and just being in different musicals. So there's lots and lots out there, lots and lots. And I just would say jump in where you are, with whatever budget you can afford, with whatever's around you. And there'll be lots of people, even teachers, I'm sure, that teach drama will be able to point you in the right direction if you don't know exactly where to go from where you are. So yeah, that's what I'd say, get stuck in.
Okay, so you could have chosen any charity. So why did you choose this one?
Because they asked me. That's my honest answer.
Yeah.
It's because I was asked. So I said, yes, absolutely. I mean, just like a lot of people, you know, we all sponsor different charities. And I've got lots of charities that I do sponsor, where I don't have an actual role. And a lot of them are children's charities that I've always sponsored, like NSPCC, Great Ormond Street. And of course, I'm passionate about child sponsorship. So I have sponsored Children with Compassion and with World Vision. And actually, this seems a marvelous extension of all of that, really. Because you know, children, young people, it's definitely where my heart is at. So yeah, that's why I said, yes, what can I do?
So how did you come to be in Doctor Who?
Aha. Well, the thing is, when you start off acting and you have so after drama school, they put on lots of plays and because you want to get an agent, and agents come and watch all the end of term plays, and then hopefully you get picked by one, and if not, you can keep going until hopefully you get one. So once you have an agent, they send you to auditions. So you're auditioning for all sorts of things, from commercials to plays to TV to films, all of it. You're doing all of it. And it was just one of the jobs that I was sent up to audition for. And I remember they said, yes, it's for this character. It's really unusual. It's Doctor Who. And I remember Doctor Who when I was a kid, because I was terrified of the Daleks. So I used to watch Doctor Who when I was really little from behind the sofa with my brother sitting there watching it. As soon as the Daleks had come out, I'd be like, oh, screaming. So I remembered, and I remember thinking at the time, oh, you know, it's a really old program. I don't know if anyone's going to be very interested, but I was interested in playing the part. It's a new part, and I thought, wow, yes, absolutely. So that's really how it happened. It was just one of the jobs that I got sent up for, and was lucky enough to actually get to be part of it. It was probably the most unusual job that I've done. Definitely, it's the first time I've ever had to wear prosthetics, and the last. It's the only time I've done it, and it was a wild ride. And it was very interesting indeed. A lot of fun.
What are the key things you do to get into character?
That's a really good question. That's an interesting question, because it really does depend what the job is. So, for example, if I'm doing voiceover work, in my voiceovers, I work for a company called The Big Finish, and I work on a lot of audio series of different kinds, like Blake 7 and Doctor Who, and you're fighting aliens all day. It's lots of fun in the studio. And for those, you don't sort of get into character in a conventional sense. You're not sort of doing animal work, or what you're really doing is just working with the script. It really is all in the voice. You kind of fall into it. All the clues are in the text. and you just kind of go with it, if that makes sense. And that's very different to maybe being in a play and being asked to play someone who's a lot older than you. I mean, I think what probably all actors do is you start off with the script itself. And one of the things that I often would do is read the script, read it again, and sort of maybe the second time around, I'm looking at everything that my character says about other people. And then I'll read it again, maybe, and I'm paying attention to everything that other people say about my character, because that sort of fleshes out the bones of a person and what they're really about, and how they drive this character. So, I mean, there are 1,000,001 ways of getting into character. Sometimes it's with the costume, sometimes it's shoes of a person, sometimes it's a piece of music that just begins to make you feel like that character. There are so many different ways, and I think it really does depend on what the piece is, you know. Yeah. That's a very general answer.
How are you doing? Have you got any more questions on there?
Yeah, just one more. Do you have a general message for the young people our charity supports?
Oh my goodness, this is such a difficult one, and I'll tell you why I find this a difficult one is because everyone is coming from such a different place. I mean, they're all young people, but really that's probably one of the few things they have in common. I mean, we're all coming from different walks of life and have different backgrounds and different experiences at school or, you know, wherever. So it's really hard to think of something very general to say to everyone, really. I can only go off my own experience and think about what I would have liked to have heard. And actually, I think the only thing I would say is that wherever you find yourself at this moment in time, this season in your life, whatever that looks like for you, it's temporary. It's temporary. Your whole life will change so dramatically in time. Maybe you've got amazing dreams for yourself and maybe you don't. But, you know, sometimes people say the world is your oyster, and it's really hard to see that when you're in this situation, you're this age, living with your parents or wherever you happen to be living. But I suppose it would just be that this is a temporary moment in your life. If you're enjoying it, then just thank God and enjoy it. And if you're not, just know that it will pass and you will get to somewhere completely different. And like, yeah, even when I go to reunions now, well, actually, I don't really go to reunions, but I have been to a couple of reunions. And it's just amazing to have known people, you know, when you were all sort of, you know, between 10 and 18, and seeing them now. It's just incredible. And I certainly never could have seen myself as I am now. You know, I was a completely different person and my life experience is completely different. And it's just that it's all going to change, and that's amazing. That's amazing for all of us. And that's it, really.
Yeah, that's all the questions.
Thank you, Seb.
Lovely.
Yasmin, do you have any questions for Seb?
I do actually, Seb. So I heard a little bit about you. So I've got a background. Your intro, your little intro video that I got on my phone it was lovely, actually, very lovely.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, to date, who have been your top two teachers and why?
Well, on a Saturday, I go to this drama group, and the person who leads it is a person called Marie.
Yeah.
And she's very inspirational. So I'd say she's one of them.
Oh.
And the other will probably be my cornet teacher, who teaches me to play the cornet, called Mr. Lewis. And probably because he's really good at explaining the technique for it.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. I think teachers are just amazing. I mean, when I think back at my favorite teachers, I'm so grateful I had I asked that question because I was thinking about it myself, and I had a lot of help along the way. And when I look back, there are some unsung heroes in my life. And I think a good teacher is life-changing. A good teacher is life-changing. And that's one thing I'm very grateful to my school, St. Peter's School, because I had a lot of amazing teachers who I didn't realize at the time was shaping my life, just being really positive and just sort of propelling me forward. So shout out to all the great teachers in the world, wherever you are, especially your two who were, what were their names again?
Well, her name's Marie, and
Marie.
we just call her. Yeah.
Shout out.
And Mr. Lewis, my cornet.
And Mr. Lewis. Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I had another question for you. It's in two parts. Okay. So my next question is, so you go to a dinner party and it's like the dinner party of your dreams, because the food that is set before you is just like the best of the best of the best. It's your dream dinner and dessert. You are so happy. And I mean like your top. I mean, you eat this and you are humming because you're so happy. So what would the meal be? It doesn't have to be fancy. And it can also be a combination of things that aren't put together. But so what would be that main meal and what would be the dessert?
I guess the main meal would probably be what I order all the time when I go to a restaurant. And that's usually a burger. So I'll probably choose a burger for the main course.
Yeah.
And then for the dessert, I usually, at the same restaurant where I might order a burger, for the dessert, order an ice cream sundae. So I'll have an ice cream sundae for a dessert.
Delightful. I like it. Simple, classic. And is there anything special about the way that this place does the burger? Is there like, what makes a good burger? Why is it such a good burger at this place?
The sauces, I guess. The fact that they do it medium rare, or I've never really concerned myself with that, but it's just something that people care about. And I guess also, the chips have to be done really well.
Yeah.
Like, I like, I don't really care about how the chips are done. I just like, well, I guess I like chips to be quite long and maybe evenly cut.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just, on the dessert, I just like my favourite ice cream will probably be in the sundae. And I guess it's really important to have your favourite things every now and then, even if they are the most unhealthy.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. It just makes your soul sing. It's lovely. It's lovely. Wonderful. Actually, so the next question is the polar opposite. You go to a dinner party and you get the worst meal that you can imagine, that personally for you, it doesn't have to be disgusting to anyone else, but to you, it is your idea of literally hell on the plate. So bad that you cannot, just to be polite, you cannot even just eat half of it or a small portion, like vile on a plate.
Okay.
Dinner and dessert, the worst. The worst of the worst.
Well, I guess the main meal would be a stew or a casserole. That's just what I don't like. And then the dessert, this might sound weird, but I've never really liked bread and butter pudding.
Yeah.
So that would probably be hell on the plate for me.
Oh, that's funny.
Yasmin and Seb, thank you so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed that. What a great end to the day. Seb, you were amazing as always.
You were.
And Yasmin, thank you so much. I will ensure that we talk again quite soon. And yeah, thank you. And on that note, I will end the recording for us. Thank you.